What it is, y'all, it is your old boy Pilk, and I'm coming back at you today with more Danmemo. Today we're going to be talking about Record Buster. Now, the thing to consider with Record Buster, first, right off the bat, you're going to need physical units. REVIS debuffs are physical a lot, so you got to use physical units. You'll notice all my units here are physical. You also need to obviously use single target. Record Buster is always single target. So, you know, single target, physical units, those are your bread and butter. Now, you also need to know that this one, on this time, REVIS is going to debuff her wind resistance. So you need wind units. It's going to be really, really, really important that you hit after everything has been debuffed, and we'll go over that when we go over the turn order. Now, one final thing to consider here, one massive thing to consider, in fact, is that REVIS also she will seal. Sorry, I almost said stun. She will seal this time around. There's always an ailment that that Record Buster. Well, okay, Finn's the exception. Generally speaking, though, there's an ailment that they kind of inflict upon your team, and the best way to go about this, in my opinion, and this was actually a hot debate on the stream earlier, the best way to go about it, in my opinion, is to go here into armor and filter by ornament and use these glorious anklets. When you actually make a glorious anklet, and we can go make one here in a moment and talk about that, it's going to give you a different ailment. Now, most of mine are not ascended in any way. They're just level 60, and I think that's fine in most circumstances. I haven't found a lot of situations where the anklets need to be ascended. But if you want to know how to make the anklets, let's go in here to blacksmith. Let's go to crafting. Let's go to armor. I've talked about this in another video, but it still is a hot topic of debate. So, third one down, glorious anklet. All you gotta do is click on that. Now, it does require buster medals, so you already have to have done Record Buster a certain number of times. Now, if you want to get away with Record Buster without anklets, we'll talk about that here in a moment. There's a couple of options for you. But just know the best way to do it, in my opinion, is to do these. So let's go ahead and craft one and see what we get. Funny enough, last night when we crafted one on stream, oh my god, we're going to get max stats. Okay. So whenever you see rainbow like that on a glorious anklet, that is going to be max stats. So 108 is maximum defense on one of these. Obviously, that's going to go up when we level them up. Now, this one happens to be a sleep resist anklet. So if I was going to go into a Record Buster where, say, someone was doing a sleep ailment, I would use this anklet. In fact, I'd level up to level 60 and then use it. But that's how you acquire anklets. You can rehammer them. I don't think it's worth rehammering them, except for, obviously, status. Attributes it's not worth, because they're so like, I've got 2,000 of these beasts, and like now it's just a joke. I don't even need them. So when you're maybe a few months into the game, these things are going to be so easy to acquire. Just, you'll be fine. Now, if you're new at the game and you need to find another way to go about this, there's a couple ways you could do this. Number one, and the easiest way, if we go over to assists, and I'm not even going to bother filtering it. We're going to go down here to Anya. This 3-star Anya, if we max Limit Breaker, which you can do for some of these units, all allies seal resist 100%. You could use her as an assist on your team to fully prevent sealing. There are seal resist, there's stun resist, there's sleep resist. There are actually really good 3-star assists that would make sense to use on some of these teams, especially if you're new. Now, you're not going to be level 6 with these units, but you are definitely going to be able to take on level 4 to 5, no questions asked, very easily. So that's one option. If it were me, what I would do is I would put that on my sack unit, but to be real, I don't even think you're going to sack anybody if you're not far enough along to make anklets. So just put it on the last unit that comes in if you're doing sacks. In other words, units that use the revolving amulet. But to be fair, you wouldn't even do that because you'd still have to have the buster medals to do revolving amulets. It's irrelevant. But build a team of 4 if you have to use this if you're new at the game, and put her on one of your units, and she'll add seal resist to everybody. That is an option. The other two that do seal resist are, there's a seer. I don't even think I have her, to be honest. No, there she is. The Holiday Spirit Seer will also do 100% seal resist if you have her, but that's not really for new people at the game. She also does slow resistance, but you know, they always do slow. They always do slow and something else. It's either slow or curse. It really doesn't. The first ailment really doesn't affect you nearly as much. The other one is the Oni Loki. There she is. Come on, maximum break. There you go. She does heal resist 100% and endurance minus 8%. But if you're new at the game, most likely you're only going to have that Anya, and there is no shame in maximum breaking a 3-star assist that does ailment resistance. That is another option if you do not have the anklets. That was a big question last night on stream, so now it is covered. All right, let's talk Record Buster. Let's go in here. Let's run this team. Okay. First of all, you notice the team that I'm using is all single targets, with the exception of Haruhime, obviously, and Line. Shakti has an interesting point in here, and we'll just get into that when we get into the fight. So let's talk about rotations. Now, the fun part is you can actually put Haruhime off to the end, because for the first 3 turns, Revis does no damage. Nothing. She can't touch you, Revis, or whatever the hell her name is. She can't touch you. So I'm going to go ahead and do 33% SA gauge charge. We're going to do our buff stack with everybody. And good to go. Now, I do have the swap anklet on Line and on Shakti. I'll tell you why I've got it on Shakti here in just a second. In fact, I'll do it now. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and we're going to do our buff stack once again. I'm just going to go ahead and, in fact, buff or debuff, whatever you got to do this turn, because obviously Anya's doing a debuff, and Shakti is to do this first attack. It is damage received, attack all targets minus 20%. That is going to be super duper helpful when it comes to Revis doing her AoE. Her SA on turns 4, 8, and 12 is an AoE attack, and we're going to need every little bit of help to make sure we don't die on that. Okay. Now, Kotori can help out a bit too, but I don't like relying on Kotori because there are ways that could fail you. So this is a little bit better way to make that happen. Now, the instant thought is on turn 3 to go ahead and do the debuff with Haruhime, but I'm going to do Yosuga to keep every one of our buffs in play. That buffs and debuffs in play. Okay? In fact, if you're running a high-level team like I'm running, don't do Akane yet. On turn 4, do an SA with Haruhime. Remember, on Revis, she doesn't remove buffs. She doesn't care about your buffs. She's only going to remove her debuffs. So anything you buff this early on stays in place. Note that. Everything you buff stays in place. So here we go. We're going to go ahead and buff everybody up to... Remember, she not only heals everybody, she does 100% strength and magic. So everybody's going to keep that strength and magic to the end of the match. It's just... That's just a thing. Alright. There we go. Now everybody's going to come out of the gate and start doing really, really awesome damage. Look at that. 200Ks, 300Ks. I think even Kotori hit for like 500. Something ridiculous. I take that back. That was probably eyes, if I'm honest. The one thing I didn't talk about on turn 4, and the reason that we do all this on turn 4, is because on turn 4, wind is debuffed down 150%, and physical is now debuffed down 80%. So, no physical resistance down 80%. Where is her... Let's see down here. Anyway, maybe wind stays down. Yeah, wind stays down 150% at all times. I take that back. It's physical that's down on turn 4. So she's going to debuff that herself. So, and that's going to be really important. We'll get to that in a moment. But for now, I'm going to do Yosuga. And we're going to go ahead and just keep hitting with our max damage hits. It's going to be really important. Bam. Actually, I take that back. I should have done Providence with Kotori to restore her MP. I screwed up there, and that is going to cost me. Okay. Now, turn 6, you want to go back in and you want to do your debuffs because all your debuffs are going to be removed. The other thing you want to pay attention to, and I wasn't paying attention to here. Yeah, I messed this one up real good. Let's go ahead and restart this beast. I messed up my runs here. There was something I wasn't paying very close attention to, and I needed to. So we're going to go ahead and go back in here. I'm going to go back to turn 4 and we're going to kind of back up to where I messed up completely. This is why it's really important to pay attention. There's really small nuances in Record Buster that are going to make or break your damage. So be really, really, really mindful of these things. If you follow along with this, you're going to make insane damage. But the two little mistakes I made are going to cost me a lot in the long run. So on Shakti, we're going to go ahead and do her buff. We're going to go ahead and continue with just the way we did before. And let's go. Which technically, even though Shakti's is a negative, it is a buff. It does affect our units. Just remember that. Defensive buffs are always negative. Offensive debuffs are always positive. It's just weird. Alright. So, Yosuga. We're going to do our big attacks now. Alright. And I think it's important to see, like, if you mess up, like, there's no harm in going back. I don't like spending the 10 Iris, but I've already gotten, like, I think the maximum damage I can get out of my units. This is kind of like a Hail Mary pass to see if I can do just a little bit more. Now, the one thing I should have paid attention to here, okay? Additional actions, Berserker Rush. We're going to get that on this turn. We don't get that when she does SAs, but because she's going to do a regular attack on this run, she's going to have one left next turn, and we need to rebuff that. So that is one big thing. So turn 5, I really badly screwed up. So let's go ahead and do this thing here. As I said, you want to be really, really, really careful when you're running this. Little things make a big, big, big difference. All right. Bam. So let's see. Look at that. Yeah, that was eyes with a 500, almost 600k attack. That's ridiculous. That's not even an SA. That's like an AoE SA, just she's doing that natively. What kind of crazy nonsense is that? Alright. Now bear in mind how much damage her other quote-unquote low damage attacks did. So we need to rebuff that. So to talk about this, when it comes to the triple attacks, what you need to do, you gotta come back up in here, and you go, okay, Berserker Rush, your other attack. When you buff Berserker Rush, it does self 3 additional turns. In other words, it's not going to do the second attack on this turn. It's going to do the second attack on turns 6, 7, and 8. So which means every like 9 and then 9 and 13, we're going to have to rebuff that. Well, not 13 technically, but you'll see when we get there. On turn 9, we're going to have to rebuff it again. So 5 and 9, and then you'll see where we rebuff it from there. You got to pay close attention to that, because that is a lot of damage we'd be missing out on if I didn't do it this way. So we need to do that. Plus, Katori's getting low on MP, so we're going to have to do Providence on this turn. Providence is going to restore her MP, and it's going to be really, really, really important to her getting out more damage later on down the road. We need to watch Katori's MP, because Kamale costs almost 200 MP. This costs 219. So if we did Kamale on this turn, we would run out of MP, and we would take a long time to build that back up. She does do a little bit of MP restoration. That's the good news. But this one is Providence is going to basically restore enough MP that we'd be able to continue. So we're going to do those two big changes to our stack. That, like I said, is going to make or break a huge amount of damage in the long run of this game. Trust me on that. Believe me on that. All right. So now I believe we're back at the point we can do a Kamale. I'm going to go ahead and do a SA on this turn. No, I take it back. I take it back. I'm not going to do an SA on this turn. I'm going to go back to doing Durandal Edge. Okay. Notice we're down here. We've now got Berserker Rush has 3 turns. So like I said, on this turn we're going to go ahead and do that. And I'm going to do... On this turn, I'm going to do Sheikah, not Akane. The reason I'm going to do that, I have a place to do Akane, but Sheikah, I need to get a little bit of extra damage out. So let's go ahead and do this. Okay? So, Durandal Edge, Kamale, Shinobi Strike. We're basically doing... Oh, no, I'm sorry. Nimble Fighter. Once again, paying attention. Remember, beginning of this turn, she's going to swing her sword around, stab it into the ground, remove those buffs. So we need to pay close attention. I'm getting myself screwed up here, and I got to keep my bearings straight on this run. So Sheikah, Durandal Edge, Kamale, and Nimble Fighter. That's because we got to restore those debuffs. Though I'm not really worried about Haruhime's debuffs yet. There will come a time, but not quite yet. The main thing is... Ooh, Haruhime. Don't run it that close to death, girl. Jeez. There are those situations. They get very uncomfortable, but there are those situations where you're like, this is a gamble, and if it doesn't pay off, then I got to restart anyway. So if you're running this like to the razor's edge like I am, expect a couple of hiccups periodically. That was a near-death experience. So now on this turn, I'm going to go ahead and do an essay with Eyes. The main reason I'm going to do that, A, she's going to hit like crazy. B, she's going to drop Wind Resist, which isn't really going to affect anybody else, but it's going to affect Eyes' damage output. And single target plus 25%, which is going to affect both Katori and, and Anya. Though on this turn, I'm going to have to do Providence again to basically build our MP back up. So Yosuga, we're doing an essay with Eyes, Providence, and Shinobi Strike. Let's go. Now remember, if I had done the essay with Eyes on turn 6, she would have done this before REVIS removed those debuffs. So it would have been a wasted turn. I hear some people last night on stream saying, oh, do her essay in turn 6. If you do her essay in turn 6, she's immediately going to go, bam, that's gone, and it's going to be pointless. You got to do it on turn 7 to get maximum effect. All right. So there we go. Now we're on turn 8. I'm going to go back and do Kamale one more time. That's just going to give us basically max damage. I'm going to go do Durandal Edge. We're going to make sure here that Berserker Rush is in play. Berserker Rush has 2 turns left, and I sense she kind of probably sensed the thing I was getting at earlier, and we'll get to that. Okay? Now on turn 8, we need to do Akane. If we do not do the 40% debuff, we are not going to survive this turn. So you've got to remove you got to do that big 40% strength debuff on REVIS, even though we've using, and I forgot to mention this in the beginning, we are using Anya to remove the strength buffs. You got to remove those strength buffs. If you're running any high level event, or any like levels 5 and 6, I would even say, you've got to remove her strength buff. So when she comes into the event, you'll notice she's going to do a big buff. It's going to come up with if you're watching the icons below her, there's going to be a little circle with an S and a blue arrow pointing up. That is her strength buff. Anya's going to remove that. It happened on turn 4 too, and I forgot to mention it. So turns 4, 8, and 12, she's going to strength buff. We've got to get rid of that. If we do not get rid of that, we are dead. So there's 2 major things we got to do in this turn. We've got to debuff with Haruhime, because while we can survive turn 4, we cannot survive turn 8. So we got to debuff with Haruhime, we've got to remove the strength buff with Anya, and then obviously we're going to try to do maximum damage with everybody else. Okay? And the nice part is this is a Haruhime attack too, so she has buffed herself, and it is an AoE. It's not going to be the biggest attack ever, but it's going to help. So there we go. One thing I forgot to mention, physical resist is debuffed, so if you have somebody that can remove that, great. I don't have room for that on my team, so I'm just going to kind of like take it on the chin. But that's okay. We're going to do all of our big attacks, and here we go. Now, I hear you asking why we didn't save our SA for this turn with Eyes. There's a couple of reasons for it, which I'd rather not get into, but well, mainly because the debuff would have happened, Revis's debuff would have happened after that. So basically we would have still had the same amount of damage out of Eyes one way or another. We could have done it on this turn, but next turn she's going to remove the debuffs. It just maths out that we get more damage by doing the debuff immediately after that. So let's go ahead one more time and do this. Now, I will also preface that when it comes to, there's a lot of, like I said, a lot of nuances to this team. I will also say that you will not be able to get this many SAs out if you're not using Finn, Maxima Broken, Line with her Spotlight skill, and what I do is I bring in, I bring in, the hell is her name? Casino Seer at the end of this. So Casino Seer is giving Haruhime 100% SA gauge charge for everything she does. So that is one thing that is there to consider. The other three have 66% between the 33% assist and 33% adventurer. So if you want to go see that itself, see that's right there at the top, SA gauge charge 33%, and another one on the adventurer side. Haruhime has 100% on... She doesn't. Why does she not? I thought I had Casino Seer on there. Huh. Oh, I think it's because I brought in someone else at the end. I didn't put Casino Seer on the team. So that is going to affect the outcome of the game too. So I take that back. I stand corrected. I'm not running Casino Seer for whatever reason. I thought that was in my build stack. That is also gonna affect the outcome of the game. That's fine. That's fine. We're just gonna see what we can do here. So in this turn, we're gonna go do Yosuga, Durandal Edge. I'm gonna do Kamale this turn only because with the amount of MP restoration we have, we're gonna go ahead and get Providence on turn 10. So we're gonna go ahead and do that, and Shinobi Strike. So let's go. So as you can already tell, like, I'm already seeing holes in this team. I didn't vet this team as well as I thought I did, so whatever they do, I've got a lot more, and I mean a lot more damage that I could probably get out of the team, unfortunately. It is just nature of the beast. So turn 10 is the time when REVIS removes her debuff, so now we've got to start all over again. So I'm going to go ahead and do Akane on this turn with Haruhime, because turn 10, after turn 10, REVIS is going to start hitting hard enough, we need those debuffs every turn. The nice part is this is going to stay. Like, after turn 12, everything's going to stay put. So we need Haruhime to make sure that she can do Yosuga every turn after this. So we're going to be really cautious with this. So we're going to do Akane. I'm going to go ahead and turn 10, if you'll notice here, is... Did I screw it up again? Did I screw it up again? I did screw... No, it shouldn't have. I mathed it out wrong. I completely mathed it out wrong. Someone was probably screaming at me while I was doing this. Should have done Berserker on turn 9. I thought because we did the SA, it didn't count. But I realized it was 4 turns, not 3. So yeah. So on turn 9, I forgot I needed to do Berserker rushing in. I'm not going to go back and redo this again. I'm just going to see what kind of damage we get. There's so many holes in the way I've run this. It's like... I don't know. It's late. It's just after stream, so maybe I'm just not paying close enough attention. And I've changed the team up a little bit from the stream team, so there's a little bit of something there. I'm gonna have to do Providence on this turn because I'm not gonna get another chance, and I'm gonna do Nimble Fighter. So we're gonna do Akane, Berserker Rush, Providence, Nimble Fighter. We gotta restore all our debuffs and make sure that the other two are buffed up the way they need to be. I'm going to be lucky if I break the 400s with this team now. Which sucks. The team is capable of so much more. Alright. Now in this turn, I'm going to go ahead and do an SA with Eyes. I'm going to go back and do Yosuga. Yosuga is going to be really, really, really important. In fact, you know what? I'm going to do Sheikah on this turn. Yeah, I'm going to do Sheikah on this turn. Because I think I'm going to need Yosuga next turn to make sure everybody's healed. So we're going to do Sheikah on this turn. Kamale. Shinobi Strike. Here we go. Alright. Yeah. I think that's going to be the best bet. Yes. Alright. Now, once again, remember, we're doing this mainly for her debuffs. So she's going to take extra single target damage And that is so late. I really should re-record this in the morning. She's going to do extra single target damage, and she's going to debuff wind. With all those extra attacks that Aiz is going to be doing, it is going to pay out greatly. All right, finally, we're on turn 12. So we're going to go and do Yosuga, make sure everybody survives this. We're going to go ahead and do Duranda Ledge, because we need those extra, the extra damage. We're going to do Kamale one more time. Main reason we're going to do that, we just need the damage. We're going to go ahead and do Shinobi Strike. This is make or break it time. Alright, like I said, the main thing here, we've got to remove the strength buffs, and we're already debuffed, so Haruhime is going to be good. But I need maximum health. Maximum health going into this. Otherwise, we're not going to survive. So that's why I did Sheikah last turn. Plus, obviously, getting the extra critical and penetration rate is going to help drastically. Alright. Good stuff, that. We just survived. That's the main reason that we were doing so much MP micromanagement with Haruhime is because we needed to have Yosuga on this turn. Took some hits, and if we do not completely heal up this turn, life is going to suck. Also, you notice we've only got double SA in this turn. We really, 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 really need to do a double SA next turn. So, or I say we've almost got double SA this turn. We need to do double SA next turn. So, Yosuga, once again, Duranda Ledge, Kamale. And if I'm checking here, because I should do it, Berserker Rush has 2 actions left. You can probably sense what's going to happen here, but let's go ahead and just do our biggest attacks. Bam. Now, why didn't I do Providence with Katori? Well, because we're going to do a double SA with Aiz and Katori on this next turn, on turn 14. And that is going to do a little bit of MP restoration for Katori, which means that on turn 15, Katori can just come out of the gate and hit whatever she wants. So we're going to do Yosuga one more time, double SA, and Shinobi Strike with, thank you, old girl, Anya. It is so late. Which I say that as I'm going to record, probably drop this tomorrow evening. So here's the thing to consider with Katori. The reason we're going to do her over Anya. Okay? Self-strength buff and 20% MP heal. That is going to allow her to do significantly more damage. Now, that if we did it with Anya, she does do 60% per self-strength buff. Having a little technical difficulty, so I'm going to leave my phone on the desk, and hopefully that doesn't jostle our cable a little more, because I think this cable's starting to go bad. Like everything else. Alright, apologies, I'm going to have my phone on the table. I have to reach over to do it now, because I think we're having some technical difficulties with the cable. But, to basically explain what we're doing here, the reason that we're going to do Katori's instead of Anya's, because then Katori's going to get an extra turn out of it. And I think, in the long run, that's going to produce a little bit more damage. So, let's go ahead. With that. So, Yosuga. Aiz doing an SA. Katori doing an SA, because remember, she's going to get the MP heal out of it. And, this is such a pain in the ass. And Anya, that's why I got the stylus, man. Ugh. So, and Anya's just going to do Shinobi Strike. So let's go ahead and see what kind of damage we get out of them. Alright, there goes Aiz. Alright. Almost 2 mil. Really close to 2 mil. I think we could get a little bit more out of her, but I'm not going to be mad. Like, that is super good damage. Katori might out-damage her, though. We'll see. Let's see. 1.6. Anya, I don't think would have been able to produce that, if I'm honest. I don't know. I'd have to go back and retest the 2 of them. There's a lot of questions there, but... And they get a combo attack, though. It's not really going to be substantial. Yeah, really good attack. I kind of would have liked to get a triple SA there. If I had had Casino Seer on the end, we'd be like right on the cusp of a triple SA, but it's not quite there. So let's go ahead and do... Now, worth noting here, if I scroll down on this list, we have one more Berserker Rush because we basically have done our essays, and remember, Berserker Rush doesn't happen on an essay. We've saved enough of those. We're going to have it on this turn. So we really paid close attention and kept that going. Not quite, but almost. And honestly would have had to buff it one other time. But here we are. Bam. And we're going to do Durandal Edge, Kamale. Yeah. And with Haruhime, I'm going to do Akane because that's a bit of damage. Let's go. So this is our final stack. So like I said, let's try and reach it for the phone. The cable's all wonky. If you were at the stream last night, you know that it kept flipping in and out. And that's why this video is kind of chopped weirdly into pieces. All right, so let's see how much damage we did. Not quite 600. I did rank up, though. Got a little bit more damage. And like I said, I know there's a bit more in this team, so I'm going to have to go through here and kind of refine a little bit more. But almost broke 600k. So that's really good. Let's see. Oops. All right, so we can actually go through here and see our score details. So, yeah, base score was 300 and was that numbers? Yeah, 39. Is that 34 million? That's 34.9 million. So honestly, we're just like RNG away from 600k. So that's very, very good. I'm very happy with that result. That's actually my best yet. And I wasn't honestly expecting that to do that. So, Though my high score is still 610. No, take that back. That is not my high score. Why did it say it was high? That's weird. Anyway, I guess it just didn't refresh from when we did it on stream. So that's going to be the video, guys. Let me know what you guys think in the comments section down below. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Follow my Birdman. Hit me up on Booker. I'll be back at you guys with more Danmachi.